Hello, friends, or love muffins, rather. I just made a longer Patreon video about timelines, which just came through kind of out of nowhere. So I'm just going to share a little snippet here of what came through. So basically, like the main takeaway, and it gave this kind of encoded frequency with the message when I was channeling it for that video. However, the meat and potatoes of that message was that there is only now, there has only ever been now. The reason that we are able to connect into versions of self or moments that are not right now, as in like memories, things from the past, are because we have been programmed to believe that we should be able to access those things. So basically, because we are experiencing things in a linear way, or our perception of things is moving in a linear way, it feels right, or it makes sense to our brain to be able to remember things that are from the perception of the past. And what they're saying is that all versions of self across all timelines and all future versions of self are just as accessible. The only difference is that we believe that we should have access to these past memories because we've been through them already, but there is only really now. And so all of these moments are happening simultaneously. And so basically, you can give yourself permission to access all of these different versions of self, because there is no difference from accessing a memory versus accessing a version of self on a particular timeline. And so you can allow that for yourself. Additionally, they also spoke to how manifestation is often, or can be, spoken to in terms of, using memories or past versions of self to help you access specific emotions or energies, and that's really just you utilizing the fact that reality is programmable. And so you're basically just re-accessing that version of self that existed prior and bringing that version of self into the present through intention. And so you can do that with any version of self, and they're also speaking to the fact that you can utilize this method to basically experience the version of reality and the version of self that you want to be experiencing, which is manifestation. That's the law of attraction. So what version of self do you want to be experiencing? What version of reality do you want to be experiencing? And what energies and emotions does that version of self and that version of reality hold? And what can you do to bring that frequency into this experience of reality, this now moment right now, so that you are programming reality to be what you want it to be. It isn't, setting the intention and waiting for, it is setting the intention and waiting for the universe. It's like being in flow. It's letting go. That's that letting go piece of manifestation. But really, it's like also understanding the fact that you are a divine creator, and that if you are allowing yourself to sit in frequency for a certain period of time, that's what you are going to be bringing in. And so really taking accountability and responsibility for that, knowing that you are the one that is bringing in these frequencies for yourself. You are the one that is pulling these versions of reality into yourself. And that is also why we speak to shadow work, and why we need to let go of pain and wounding and versions of self that aren't resonant with the experiences that you want to be experiencing, because those are the things that are limiting you and blocking you. So they were also speaking to the fact that, like, as our consciousness raises, these barriers and these limitations between the remembrance of all of these different versions of self just begins to dissolve as we kind of dissolve into a collective consciousness, as well as into a collective timeline. So that's all for today. If you want to be working with me on a more individualized level, my books are still closed. However, I do offer Patreon community, as well as monthly teachings, 2 weekly videos, but monthly teachings and a month ahead live. If you are in tier 3, this month's class is going to be on discernment and how to know the difference between alignment and lack of alignment, how to properly use and develop that sense of discernment, because that is our way forward on this path of ascension. So I love you all, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.